Howdy, Beeflowbart here, and welcome back. Okay, I did something that I told myself that I wouldn't do. I added one of my asset packs in here. If you already have an asset pack that you've downloaded from the marketplace that has a gun in it, then go right ahead. If you need a temporary firearm that you can add into it, I have a few that I can upload the FBX files on into the Patreon page. But as of right now, just to make this easier for me to be able to keep going, what I have done is I've gone ahead and installed an asset pack that I picked up from the marketplace. I got it while it was on sale, and you know what? It's so much worth it. I enjoy it. You may or may not like it. If you've seen my other videos on the game that I'm working on, then you've seen assets from it. It's the Cinti Studios Polygon Heist Pack. In fact, I have all of the Cinti Studios Polygon packs. But what I'm going to do with it is, for right now, I'm only going to use the guns. Just so, to be fair, I'm not adding a whole lot of extra stuff in here. But what I could end up doing is just saying, hey, you guys, it's worth buying if you want to get it. You've got a SWAT character, you've got FBI characters, you've got some other characters you can work with. But that's not why I set this up in here. It was primarily for the weapons. And it already contains them in static mesh form, which is good. So you have the actual bullets you can put on the ground, live and empty casings. You have a vertical grip. You've got the carrying handle attachment for the M4. You've got a red dot scope, a silencer, a regular sniper scope, flashlight attachment, a crosshair for a couple different applications of crosshairs. You've got flashbang. You have this actually looks like a smoke grenade, holster, a 1911 Glock, an AK, an M4, pump shotgun, MP5K, and L96 sniper rifle. You have them in static mesh form, and you already have them as a rigged model as well. And what I'm going to do is use both in the creation of our weapon systems, because having the static mesh, if I want to create the very first item, and what I'm going to do for now is I'm going to take and we're going to piece together this rifle so I can show you some examples of other things to do. We're going to actually create a pickup item so that we can actually pick up the M4 off the ground, add it to our inventory, and be able to use it. Okay, pretty simple to do, but we'll get into that in a little bit. We're also going to add a pistol, and we're going to add a holster, and we're going to need to do something first. Yes, this even has police helicopter. You can actually change the skins on these and change them to different colors as well. Nice Charger police car and SWAT van. I'm not going to make those work just yet, but I've also got the cars from the Polygon City pack, and those are the ones that I usually use. But we're going to skip into the next important factor here. We're going to go to the mannequin folder. Since for right now we're going to stick with the UE4 mannequin, we're going to go to the character folder, and inside that the mesh folder, and we're going to open up the UE4 mannequin, and we are in the actual skeleton itself. We're going to need to create a couple sockets. Now, as we see, our guy's in a Y pose. When we go to retarget animations later and retarget the, if I use the polygon stuff in this tutorial series, I do recommend you buy it. It's good stuff. I enjoy it, and they're easy to work with. But we're going to work with UE4 mannequin for right now. We're going to need a couple things, and the first one we're going to need to get started with is a main hand attachment for holding the pistol in your main hand or the rifle in your main hand. We're also going to need a holster to attach the pistol to your hip, and we're going to need some animations. And there's a couple way to do it for the animations. We don't currently have any weapons animations at all for right now. We'll do that in another video because I have a nice little easy way of getting free animations that we can tie in, and it doesn't involve Mixamo. Promise. But since we have the Polygon Heist pack installed, or I do at least in this one, I'm going to utilize the assets from that. So the first thing that I'm going to want to do is I want to create a halter location. Now, I'm going to actually attach it to the right thigh so that it's where I want it to be, not where all the animations that I find out there, the halter is on the small of the back, and I couldn't tell you honestly anybody that I know of right now that carries a weapon small of their back. Unless you're some thug punk wannabe. My concealed carry rig is always going to be, you know, right there on my side and tucked back a little bit, but not all the way behind me. Okay, enough said on that. What we're going to do is we have that selected by clicking around until we found the one we wanted. And then we have thigh R underscore R. I'm going to right click on that and I'm going to add a new socket or add socket. We're going to call this holster. Nice and simple. And we want something to visualize there, so I'm going to right click on that, add preview asset, and I'm going to type holster, and I want to use, it doesn't matter, let's use the static mesh. Either one will be fine for now. So what we're going to notice first off is it looks like we have a tail. So we're going to come to the move, and we want to go ahead and move it out a little bit. We're going to get it in a decent position here in just a minute. But then we want to go ahead and rotate. And rotate it 90 degrees this way. And I'll rotate it 90 degrees this way. Then it's actually not bad for closeness to the side. So what I'm going to do is, it's actually not bad. I kind of like it, but I think I'm going to lower it down just a little bit. Since I used the right thigh as a location for this, if I want to see how this looks with an animation, I can come over here to animation, go to the drop down list, and third person idle, and I can see how he looks when he's idling and how it looks there. But if I want to see how it looks when he's walking or running, I can change the animation. And we can see that the halter actually moves with his right leg. So it looks pretty good. Not bad. So I'm actually going to clear and take him back to that pose. Now I'm going to go ahead and add the main hand socket. However, it's not going to look right until we physically get the animations imported. But we want our main hand socket to be based off of the right hand. I'm sorry, I'm right-handed, and the majority of the people that we're dealing with are right-handed. If you so choose to make your game left-handed, you select the left hand and you do your thing. Whatever makes you happy. So we're going to add a socket. I'm going to call this main hand with a capital M, capital H. This is what I call mine, and I use the same thing in every single solitary thing I create this way. Now I'm going to go ahead and move this down and then over so that it puts it approximately in the palm of the hand. Now, I'm also going to move this out just a little bit as well and get an approximate location. Now, if I try to attach something to his hand, and I'm going to add a preview asset of, let's just throw the Glock in his hand. I'm not a Glock fan, but whatever. Okay, so we can see that it's not right. We need to go ahead and rotate it, and his hands are not closed, so we're just trying to get an approximation for right now. And the gun size looks a little big, but that's something we can fix when we actually add the gun in. And we're not really worried about being 100% precise because we don't physically have the animation set up just yet. We can get it a little bit better once we actually have the animation. So just again to see right here, we're going to idle. It's kind of sticking through his leg a little bit right there, but not really that big of a deal. We're not going to have the gun right there normally. And then while he's running, we can actually freeze frame it, so we can, yeah, see, it looks a little bit big, but we're not really worried about that so much. We're going to rotate it out just a hair, and we're going to shrink it down. Now it looks a little bit more realistic for the most part. Again, like I said, we're not worried about being 100% perfect right now because we don't have the correct animations to really get it working. It'll be good enough. We're not actually going to display them in our hands and stuff for right now, but we needed to have the holster location there so that we can go ahead and save this and start closing these guys out here. Now, we have the location on the hip. We're going to go ahead and we're just going to create one pickup for now. I'm going to come back to content folder, right click, create a new folder, and we want to create a folder called pickups. And inside that folder, I'm going to create another one. Gun stuff. Good enough for now. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and get our first pickup is going to be the pistol. Create a blueprint class, actor, and Glock pickup. And inside here, what we want to do is we want to first add a component in, and we're going to use a static mesh. We're going to use the static mesh. We're going to call this gun, and we're going to find our pistol here. And then we're going to rotate it so it lays flat. Now we're going to have to make some adjustments to it height-wise, so we're not really worried about it that way. But now we want to click on default scene route, add a component, and we want a box collision. We don't want them linked. We just want it in the route. So we're going to create that. Now you can scale this box however you want. Some people like to have it exactly the size of it. You can actually set it to where the actual static mesh itself, its collision, works as a method of being able to pick it up. But I want to make this box a little bit bigger. I don't want it to be huge, but I don't want it to be tiny. So I'm going to actually create a box that's more along the similar sizing of the pistol itself. And we're actually going to take the gun model itself and we're going to move it back so we can center it a little bit better in this box. Alright, that's good enough. So we're going to go ahead and compile and save. We're going to drag this down and anchor it back up here again. In fact, for right now, I'm going to unanchor it, and I'm going to drag it down to be like this, so I can see it on the screen. It's going to look a little bit weird, but I need to be able to see it, and I need to be able to throw it on the ground so I can take a look at it in the scene. And we see that the gun's sitting a little bit too low, so we want to come up just a little bit. And it's just going to snap at increments of 10. We don't want that, so we're going to undo our, we're going to disable the snapping to grid, essentially. And we're going to move that up just enough to where it's looks like it's laying on the ground. Compile and save. And we want to go ahead and take our collision box, and I'm going to move it back down again too, so that it's actually more appropriate with where the gun's actually laying, and just a hair below. So again, we're going to compile and save, And I'm going to move this back up here. We're going to look at it in the scene. We'll hit play. And now we can walk around. We see there's a gun laying on the floor. We can pick it up. But we need somewhere for it to go once we pick it up. So we're going to tell it to go to our holster. And we don't have a holster. Okay, no problem. Let's go back over to our character. We know we're going to have guns, so yeah, whatever. Let's go back into quick save all. Go into the player underscore base. And then we want to go to our viewport. That just looks disturbing having a camera for a head. But we're going to go to our mesh. Click on that. We're going to add a component. And we're going to add and we'll just keep it a static mesh. Static mesh here. We're going to call this the holster. Lovely. Now, we want to find our holster. There we go. And it's laying on the ground. So what we need to do is find the parent socket and find the holster socket. And there we go. We have now attached our holster to our hip. I'm going to compile and save. And now when we go into the game, we have a holster on our hip. Isn't that awesome? So, and then what we need to do is we've got our pickup item. We have our camera head. Our character. So, what to do? Well, first off, let's clean that up. That's our FPS view, and I'm going to go ahead and shove it out of the way. We'll worry about this guy later. So, on our event tick, that's good to go. We'll keep that there. And our Glock pickup we're going to get rid of everything here. We're going to select the box. We are going to find this way component begin overlap. Click that. Then we're going to come from our other actor, player underscore base. We're going to cast to it. So it has to be a player that picks it up. Okay. Now, as player underscore base, we are going to, when we overlap the item, we are going to, it's going to screw this up sometimes, so I'm going to go ahead and get a reference to our gun. Destroy actor. And no. Yeah, this is where it's really easy to screw this up, because if you do it in the wrong spot, then you'll actually destroy yourself. We don't want to do that. We don't want to pick up an awesome cool gun and then just disappear. So we're going to leave target off from there and leave target reference to self. In fact, because I'm being stupid and I'm having a brain fart on how to do this, then I want to make sure that when we walk over this, the gun actually disappears off the ground and the actor is gone. So that's what we wanted. When we didn't disappear, the gun did. So go back into the pickup, and we want to, from player underscore base, we want to spawn actor from class. And then, of course, there's multiple ways of doing this. So we're going to spawn actor from class. Nah. Yeah, we're not going to be able to do that from here. Not neatly, because we can't tell itself to pick up itself. So we're going to have to come back into our player base, and we need another variable. And we're going to create that as Clock picked up. We're going to go ahead and set replicated and instance editable and expose on spawn. Then add a custom event. Clock picked up. From that, we want to spawn actor from class. And we want to, let's make sure we compile and save this. Even though it's not done yet, and we haven't saved that variable yet, so let's compile and save that. Yes, shut up about that error. We don't care. Set Glock picked up, not get. Set Glock picked up to true. So we need to tell the player underscore base that we just picked up that Glock. So I'm going to go ahead and compile and save that. Go back to our player, and the actual thing we're looking for is the Glock pickup. And actually, we don't want to do that. Yeah, it's not going to let us do that because that's not the one that we want. We haven't created the actual weapon yet. So we're going to come back over here again, and in the pickups, and not there actually, we're going to create another folder called Weapons. Create a new blueprint, an actor, Glock underscore BP, and we want to add a component of a skeletal mesh, and that skeletal mesh is going to be the pistol and that's all we need for right now on that one. Compile and save. Then in here we want to, while this is cleaned out, get rid of the errors, compile and save, we want to spawn actor from class. We're going to make transform. We're going to set a location and everything else here in just a second. The item we're going to do is Glock BP. So now that we actually have it, we've spawned it, and we need to tell it to go somewhere. So we want to attach to component, and we need to know the component name. So we're going to call that holster. We're going to attach it to our holster. And parent name, we're going to need a single component object reference. So we're going to need to get our mesh. So now we're going to tell it to spawn in. Once we have this happen, we're going to spawn it and attach it to the holster. So compile, save, and then on here, going to move this over just a little bit. We're going to clean this up to try to make it to where it works. On the clock picked up, we're going to get a reference to that, and we're going to set a branch node. running off of true. So if it detects that in this custom event that we did pick up a Glock, then we're also going to do one more, and has Glock, and we're going to set that here to true. And another thing also is we don't want to keep picking up the same gun if we already have one. So let's move that over here. Let's add another branch in. Move that up to here, and we're going to get a reference to that. Drop that in there. So now it's going to check to see if we have a Glock, and if we do, it's going to do nothing. If we don't, it's going to give us one. We're just about done with this video, so this one's going to be running a little bit long. I've been trying to keep them around the 30-minute mark, so I apologize if this is getting too long. And then Glock picked up function call. We're going to attach that into pin 1 over here just for testing, because I'm sure I've got a mistake in here somewhere. So see, no gun in the holster. It kind of looks like it, but there. We just picked it up off the ground, and it is now in our holster. So I'm going to go back and exit again. We're going to start play again. We have 31 actors in the scene. And if you look closely, there's a strap that comes off the back of the holster. It looks like you've got a gun, but I promised, it's not in there. As soon as we walk over it, it picks it up. Still showing 31 actors for some reason. So the actor count's the same, but the gun is now actually in our hip and not on the ground. So another test we want to do really quickly. We'll go back to our pickups folder, gun stuff, Glock pickup. Let's put a second one in the scene. Run over here. We grabbed it. We got it. What happens is that one disappears. So we need one fix really quickly. And we need to run a branch. And we need to we're going to need to move this around just one more time. Hopefully we don't kill ourselves again in the process. We need to get that, set that up. We need to get our branch, and we need to check to see if we has a Glock. And if we has a Glock, then we don't want to pick up one. So run the check here, go to our branch. Do we have a Glock? No. Then set Glock picked up, and then destroy actor, and let's make sure that we didn't kill ourselves. So yeah, run it over, pick it up. We got one now, and we didn't destroy ourselves. And since we already have one, we can't pick up another one, so we can just run over back and forth, and it's going to stay right there. So okay, that's stage 2 of actually getting us our guns going. We have created a first-person view with crosshair. We have a holster on our hip, and we have a pistol on our hip, so we have that available. And since we ran a little bit long on this particular video right here, we're going to go ahead and end it, and I'll pick up on the next video and hopefully be able to show you a way to change the animations. All right, thanks for watching.